Welcome back. I'm having a great pleasure of tasting through some wines from Bergerac, which is a neighboring appellation of Bordeaux. It's a very historic appellation, and I suppose it's well known. However, it's to finding the great wines is still a bit difficult because they are not as widely known or as widely talked about. But I do think there are really some nice bargains there. And this particular wine, Château Monestier La Tour, it's a fairly new adventure, or I think it has gotten remade a little bit in the last years, and I find this being a bit more subtle, rounded and elegant version of Bergerac. Some of the wines can be a bit rustic and old-fashioned, which is nothing wrong with, but however this is a bit more modern example. And just like the wines from neighboring Bordeaux, this is based on the same varieties. This particular one is dominated by the Merlot, which is complemented by Cabernet Franc and Côte, which is the local name for Malbec, which is perhaps more known. This is really an intense and generous nose right now. It's much more on the black fruity side with the hints of cassis. We do have some aromatic herbs, dark plum. There's a hint of oak in the background, which adds some notes of slightly roasted notes and just a touch of chocolate. Quite rigid wine in terms of structure, really ample, mouth-filling, still a bit youthful. It's still, you know, a lot of fruit. It's perhaps a bit unresolved and should need another 1 to 2 years just to round off the edges a bit. But I do think that it's a nice integration of tannin there. They're present, they add freshness, but they perhaps should just soften another year or so. It's a generous length, and it stays on the palate really. And I'd say that this is a really interesting and well-made wine with good concentration, plenty of fruit, which should have a potential to develop for 10 or 50 years if you have the patience for that. If you want to drink it earlier, I mean, it's always possible. Pop it open, pour it into a decanter 30 minutes prior to service, and if we pair this with something like a nicely grilled Côte de Bœuf with a potato gratin or something rich and creamy, it should do fairly well. So a new wine, or a fairly new wine, at least to me, with a great potential, well made from a difficult vintage, but I do think it is a very fine example. So Château Monestier La Tour 2007.